Welcome to week 7 in the course, Persuasive Writing. This week we'll begin the culminating assignment, a 6-page persuasive research paper with a minimum of 5 credible academic quality sources. Persuasive writers argue. Now by argue, we don't mean to imply anger, as Calvin demonstrates here, but rather strategic communication for the purpose of convincing readers to think or act in a particular way. 2,500 years ago, Aristotle defined 3 cornerstones of rhetoric. Logos, the logic, reason, structure of an argument. Pathos, the emotional appeal, connecting with the human element, tugging at the heartstrings of the reader or hearer. And finally, ethos, the author of the argument's credibility. Credibility can be demonstrated in a number of ways, including clear articulation, excellent paragraph and essay structure, appropriate grammar, voice and tone, but most substantively for our purposes through credible source use. Okay, staying on track, drafting your research project this week. You know of our pattern in the course. The week 2 peer review and final phase of this semester will be longer because of spring break, giving you a little extra review and revision time critical for the research project. But plan carefully and see that the research draft is due March 9th and the final paper will be due March 20th. That draft will be about 4 or 5 pages required and the final minimum of 6. Okay, don't miss these important drafting resources. On the far left, the colorful graphic organizer demonstrating the basic structure of a persuasive paper or any college essay. The colors green, blue, and gray correspond to subpoints embedded in the introduction after the thesis to show the 3 main thrusts of the argument. Notice that all 3 of those subpoints, including the thesis, reappear in the conclusion in slightly different language while also providing information or a slight twist to freshen up the conclusion so it's not redundant. This middle index of templates is from Good Sentence Builders, and top to bottom, this is the best way to ensure that you are articulating at a professional or college level. I'm not a fan of learning by rote or requiring specific templates so that everyone conforms to exactly the same standard. However, this is a great guideline, and it's broad enough and general enough in all of its suggestions to be used creatively by each different individual. Finally, this is my rough of the outline that you completed last week. You will want to work from your version of this with your specific information, but notice that beginning with a very clear outline in which each of the portions of your research paper are roughly balanced and equal is the best way to make sure you're writing in a structured and well-organized manner. Okay. Now this week we have 2 very different sample papers embedded in Module 7, and they're each helpful in a different way. So the APA formatting sample is from Purdue OWL, the online writing lab from Purdue, and you will see the beautiful boxes in it that highlight specific aspects of the paper and the formatting, so you should make sure that your paper looks exactly like the APA formatting sample before you turn it in. Compare them side by side. However, do not make sure your paper sounds in tone like the Purdue OWL sample, because that isn't actually a persuasive paper. It's more of an annotated bibliography or a summary paper, okay, a summary of research. I did, however, provide an exemplary persuasive argument for you. This one is MLA formatted, so ignore the formatting, but it is excellent writing. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. So if we go first to the Purdue sample, okay, you can scroll through and you can see that each page highlights different components with box margins or margin boxes. Okay. What's really helpful here is the use of in-text citations, showing how sources can be integrated. Every time you use a source, you should introduce the name of the source with the date and then conclude the sentence, right, with information. There's the period after the parentheses. Okay? You have the authors, then you have the date, and you have a period. Okay? All right? And that continues throughout. So just note the in-text citation formatting, note the general formatting, and also, of course, when you get to the last page, note the references page formatting right here at the end. All ideal. That's what your paper should look like. Now, on the other hand, we have, by student permission, a sample paper called Improving One's Own Life by Improving Others' Lives, the Effectiveness of Altruism and Generosity in Generating Happiness and Satisfaction. Basically, a persuasive paper about altruism and generosity. What I've done, though, is noted the specific elements of composition and persuasive writing in general that are highlighted in your class notes this week and that have been highlighted throughout the semester in these margin comments. Okay? So open it up, make sure you can view the margin comments. You may have to change a setting in the review tab here at the top. But if we look, for example, there's an excellent paraphrase of a source right in the first page. Dr. John Izzo has spent his career as a pastor, psychologist, and consultant embroiled in the depths of human nature. In his book, The 5 Secrets You Must Discover Before You Die, etc., and so forth. So this is great source introduction, okay? And then the substance of the source is written in paraphrase and explain how it connects to the thesis. Perfect. Quotation sandwich is what I call that. You'll see that in the course notes this week. Okay. Notice the student includes an opposing view right at the top, or an alternative perspective right at the top of the paper, and then sort of explains how it can be refuted or integrated into her perspective. And then she includes another one at the bottom, you'll see. Okay. She's using good sentence builders here. I see that I am of two minds about Corbett and Lupton's claim that charity and generosity can be detrimental. On the one hand, I agree, but on the other hand, I'm not sure if one can claim that generosity in general can be detrimental. See, she's got a good, subtle, nuanced perspective. She's using the I agree here, I disagree there. It's good, thoughtful writing. She's using the good sentence builders to good effect here. Okay? Here's another perfect quotation sandwich. Happiness is the most immediate benefit of generosity. So that's her words in the introductory topic sentence. And then Dr. Izzo's research supports the idea that giving to others is the greatest pleasure a human being can have. It's a little bit of a shorter introduction because Dr. Izzo has already been introduced as well as his credentials. But there's the introduction, there's the quote, and then she explains, she processes it with her own perspective. This concept has been the focus of several research ventures, including a study by, and then she goes into another source. So she introduces the quote, she offers the quote, and then she explains how it fits in with the larger paper or other sources that she's using. Okay, good job. You can scroll down. Notice that there are excellent transition sentences at the top of each paragraph. That's what I like to see. She also has a sub-point structure, 1, 2, and 3 benefits of generosity, and they are clearly noted by the topic sentences. Okay. There's the second opposing view at the bottom. And again, you only introduce opposing views or alternative perspectives when you refute them, explaining why they're incomplete or incorrect. Okay? So there it is. 2 excellent sample papers, useful for different reasons. Good luck here in week 7 of the course. If you have any questions, please do